Ladies and gentlemen, friends and neighbors, it's Scott Hammond with the 100% Humboldt podcast with my new best friend, Matthew Owen. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Scott. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Good to see you, man.
Nice to see you again.
Usually see you at mixers and wave across the street in different places, and this isn't that.
Yeah.
I have to look at you now.
Yeah.
I get to. Tell me about the Matthew story. Where were you born? How'd you get here?
My family's been here about 117 years.
Wow.
My mother graduated Eureka High School. I graduated Eureka High School, and my daughter graduated Eureka High School.
Wow. You are
so born and raised.
What you would call 100% Humboldt.
For a while there, yeah.
Pretty close. Did you leave for a while?
After college, yeah. Went down to LA for 23 years.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
LA is great.
It's great.
Except for the traffic and the amount of people.
And the weather's great.
You're not going to see a Rams game here in Eureka, and you're not going to see a U2 concert here in Eureka.
You're not going to see the Who at the Hollywood Bowl. The Bowl.
Been there many times.
The Bowl's cool. Yeah. LA's cool, like you said, except for
great weather.
Except for getting
beach.
Around.
It's just traffic, and they have way too many people.
There's people pretty much everywhere I turn. It's like, oh my gosh. And you can't wait to get on the plane and get back up here.
Yeah, I go down there often.
So where'd you go to school?
Oh, Eureka High School, then Chico State.
Oh, you went to Chico? Oh, the Wildcat. Oh, the party school.
Allegedly, yes.
Let's see. You're probably my age, so you're 39 or 40. Let me do the math on that. Let me see. Chico State. So
I was at Chico State when they had Pioneer Days.
Pioneer Days is the red flag for you. You were a full-on party guy.
Just saying that the whole campus was. So
you weren't alone. Okay.
For a 1-week period, you basically rolled out of bed and started drinking in the morning through the afternoon until the night, and then did it again.
And rinse and repeat.
It was basically a long weekend because your body couldn't do that for a week. Well, most people's bodies couldn't.
Yeah, there's some guys that could rally a little. They were more stalwart than ever.
Our favorite game at Chico State is they had the sororities and the various sororities and fraternities that have to come and drink a pony cake.
Oh.
So it's only 7.5 gallons, but you'd had to drink a cup, and then the next person in line would have to drink a cup, and the next person in line would have to drink a cup until someone couldn't drink anymore, and they either threw up or passed out, or they said, I'm done. Now you're down one less person, and you have to keep drinking a cup until the next person throws up, passes out, or says, I'm done. And now you're down to one less person, and whoever drained the pony cake first won.
Wow. You ever done that one? Nope.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank goodness. So is that a pony keg per team?
Yes.
That's a lot of beer.
It's a lot of beer.
Wow.
You may start off with 10 people, but just...
It is a process of elimination.
That was probably the worst Chico State drinking game I witnessed.
That's a tough one. I was going to say my brother-in-law, Scott Hansen, who's a remarkable individual investment guy, when he gets up to introduce himself, all the other guys are from Cal or Stanford, and Scott Hansen, where'd you go to? Chico State.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's like everybody just goes, oh, Chico. Oh, hey. And he always wears that as a little badge, I think, of some sort. Anyway, so what brought you to Chico? Where'd you study at Chico? Business?
Business, yeah.
And then came home?
Came home, yeah.
What'd you do in L.A.?
Worked primarily in real estate mortgage lending, whether it was PMI, private mortgage insurance, or actual mortgage banking.
Gotcha. Was that with Wells?
No, Wells wasn't until Eureka.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. How'd you like it?
How'd I like Wells or
your profession?
Profession?
I hated the traffic and I hated the people.
Well, yeah. I didn't say I hate the people. I said there's too many people.
There's too many people.
I love working with people, especially helping a first-time buyer get another home. And I love helping people reach their financial goals because with most people, your mortgage payment's your largest piece coming out of your financial family's budget each month.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you own your house free and clear.
So as a good neighbor, I'm just going to go right to the insurance discussion. So with the fire, the dumpster fire that is fire insurance in California, one of the stories that I tell myself and tell customers is that because of the craziness of the California Fair Plan, fire insurance is triple, that it does bump first-time buyers, the people that you love and I love, out of the market. Does that kick people out of escrows often, or is it just make
rarely? More so if you're in a rural area.
Okay.
If you're down in Mendocino County in the hills or South Humboldt County in the hills, it can get what typically used to be. We used to quote out $1,200 a year or less for homeowners insurance. That was
Sure.
pretty easy.
Sure.
Nowadays, depending upon where you live, we say expect $3,000 or $4,000 a year. So
Wow. Easy. Yeah.
just depends on where you live.
You know, I'll confess I get the AARP newsletter. But it's cool. It's in big print and there's big pictures and bullet points, and I can look at graphics. And the striking homeowners insurance, they have a name for ads like these. Anyway, it's not an ad. The average price for homeowners in Florida is $5,500 a year.
Florida's worse than California.
Correct. They're the top, but the average in America is about $3,600. And you and I are paying $1,200 or whatever.
Then we've been lucky for all these years.
It's called rate repression.
Okay.
Your friends and mine, Prop 103, I think was the number. They created the watchdog agency that sits at a table in Sacramento, and they're just obstructionist dudes and dudettes that said, hey, we're not going to let you do capitalism. And everybody now is wondering what happened because we had rate repression for 2 decades. We're not paying what the nation pays. Your home and mine is worth what? Double in Mississippi or Michigan. But they pay double what we pay in insurance. They're used to it, and we're not. So anyway, enough of insurance.
I like to see State Farm's annual income statement and balance sheet. Did they actually lose money last year?
Yeah, I didn't understand that last question.
We're going to go beyond that question.
My headset, Nick, my headset's messing up. I don't know what
my corporate master maybe made billions, but they said we're not making any money.
We're going broke in California, bro. It's
like
terrible.
our local nonprofit hospital that you can look up the numbers that makes $20-25 million a year, but they claim they're nonprofit.
Correct. Yeah. And so, and the corporate says, when you're an agent, say, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Act dumb, and it's not a very big act for.
I'm sorry, we need to pay our CEO more tens of millions of dollars a year.
$1 jillion. Yeah.
He can't get by at $30 million a year.
I don't know what ours. That's a good question.
Why don't you find out? I'd say it's probably $30 million a year.
Let me Google that right now. So you went to LA and worked for 23 years. Where'd you live down there?
Primarily in the Pasadena area.
Okay.
So when you hit a certain age in Pasadena, you get the tap on your shoulder saying you need to join the Rotary Club of Pasadena. And you need to join Tournament of Roses. That's the nonprofit organization that puts on the Rose Parade and the Rose Bowl game.
That's right. We were talking before the show. You're actually on that one of the committees?
I have my 23rd parade coming up, and I've probably attended 20 Rose Bowls over the years.
That's cool. Huh. Who's your team?
I don't have a college team per se. I say I'm in for a good game.
Sure.
I could tell you I was there at the USC-Texas game in January 2005, which is, I'd argue, is one of the greatest college games ever played.
What was the score on that one?
Top of my head, 38-35 Texas.
I remember that. It was a good game.
It was a close game. Vince Young scored with like 30 seconds to go.
Wow.
And I was sitting there in that end zone section going, we just saw the whole play break out and go, oh,
it's awesome. My friend's going to the Texas-Georgia game here in October. They're number 1 and 2 in the nation. Back in Austin, he's a big Horns fan. So what do you actually go down and work on the parade and do stuff?
Usually day after Christmas, yep.
Wow, that's cool.
I found there's another woman that just joined our Rotary Club. She actually volunteers to go to, well, she doesn't volunteer. She's now a paid person. She gets paid to manage a float down there from Eureka. So someone else does the crazy thing I do.
Do you have a name?
Yeah.
You can't say her name? I have a name, but you won't hear it. So that's kind of cool. So which Rotary are you in Wednesday?
No, Monday, Rotary Club Eureka.
Oh, you're with
the big one.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Formerly big one.
Yeah.
The old guys club. Hey.
The old guys club. How old's Lucky?
Lucky's like 29.
I was
don't know.
going to say 35, 40, yeah.
So you were part of it. So there's 5 Rotary, well, there's probably 10 Rotary clubs in the county, but that was the famous one, Eureka downtown, right? Or
it used to be Eureka Inn back in the day.
Yeah, Ron Pileggi, my good friend, did the newsletter, and I remember he said like a quarter or a third of them all died one year. It's like within a year or two, like a whole bunch of the club was like wiped out because they're just old dudes.
You need to bring in new young blood.
Yes,
problem is, in my opinion, not enough of the younger people are volunteering.
Right.
It's a big issue from everything from giving blood to whatever charity.
Well, yeah, and COVID didn't help any of that. I was part of Friday Club, pardon me, and I just quit going.
Ask your millennial children, where do they volunteer? Of course, you can't talk to them. You have to text them because they don't take your calls.
You can't ask them
unless
anything.
They need money. They're not taking your calls.
Yeah, right. Where do you volunteer? A lot of them grind hard at work because they have to have 3 jobs to have a mortgage.
My daughter pays $4,200 a month for rent and a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. It's a beautiful apartment.
Where's that?
Down in LA.
I believe that.
But $4,200 a month rent.
Are you kidding? Rent.
You want a nice place in LA? Huh. That's what it costs.
I did visit your Rotary Club several months ago and enjoyed it. It was a lot smaller than I thought. Monday at the Eagle House. Yeah. And Lucky was there, and Brian, and I was a guest of Phil Nicholas.
Okay.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good club. You guys do a lot of stuff.
I think it's the individual president each year. If he comes up with goals, ideas, and objectives, he can explain to the club and say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get out in the community and do some good.
Right. Yeah, the Friday Club was very good about that. It's fun to be part of a Rotary. So what'd you do after you worked in L.A.?
Came back to Eureka. Mm-hmm. One of my best friends from Eureka High School and my roommate in college died of a suicide. And at his wake, well, we first had the funeral, which was, how do I say it's politically correct? He was gay, and his family never dealt with that and didn't talk about it at all. And as the family standing up, the only family to talk, we're all looking at each other going, who the hell are they talking about? That's not the guy we've known for 10 years.
Wow.
So then we had a post-wake up at Huckin's bar.
Right. And he was a terrific guy, as I understand.
Yeah, great guy.
Lovely guy.
Just some people are old school.
Yeah, well, that's true. So you came back here, and is that before or after you married Virginia?
Met her there at our post-wake.
Oh, how about that?
So we're classmates in high school.
There's a connection there.
Yeah.
And then you guys decided to be married one day.
Yeah, got to there after a little while, but yeah.
Yeah, she's terrific. She's been on the show, as you know.
She told me.
She did a great job. I hope you saw that. I hope you looked at it.
I did.
Don't admit that you didn't.
I forwarded it to her.
Yeah, no, she did terrific. And then it was funny seeing her at the airport schlepping luggage.
Yeah.
County supervisor, United baggage person.
She likes to travel.
Parody. So she'll travel free, right? Is that correct, or something close to it?
You get travel standby.
Okay.
If there's a seat available, you can fly anywhere in the world for free.
And you can pretty much find that out with the phone.
Yeah. But the downside is that the last sometimes hour, people buy tickets.
Right.
And if they're a revenue passenger, guess what happens to the non-revenue passenger?
Oh, bye. Yeah. You're going to Houston.
Yeah.
I have a funny story. It reminds me of this story. This is a speaker story. So there's a guy going off and railing at the attendant at the gate, and just at the ticket gate, just freaking out. And she, sir, calm down. And he got it together, and finally, very disrespectful, and he took off to his gate. And they go, how? And the guy behind him comes up. How did that go? She goes, well, he's going to Houston, but his bags are going to Taipei. So
yeah, I wouldn't recommend messing with them.
Be nice to people out there, folks. It's not an easy job.
When you're in the air, the flight attendant is the law, and they can call the FBI and say, we've got an unruly passenger. Be waiting for us at the gate.
First time I've ever asked this. What are the 3 big things that have happened in your life that changed you, or gave you cause for pause, or were transitional, transformative?
A couple different. Well, first off, I'll start off at a young age. Boy Scouts.
Oh.
One of my true regrets in life is I didn't finish my Eagle Scout.
That's a big thing.
I hit 15 years old, started playing football, started working out, figured out what beer was, used to hang out with my buddies, and all of a sudden, I'm Eagle Scout, whatever.
Figured out what beer was.
And in hindsight, I didn't want to say the other female thing, but in hindsight, I wish I would have said, hey, you're 16 now, let's finish up this Eagle Scout just to put it on your resume.
Yeah.
And truly, I was like one project away from finishing it up, but
it's a really big deal.
it is. And when you're 16, you need to keep focused.
Yeah. I think I played on the bong team early on. I never even got to go to scouting much.
Okay.
So feral hippie child in San Diego. We
gave you a lot. We used, Frank Yeager, our former Eureka Mayor and City Council member, was my scoutmaster.
Big scout.
And we used to do 50 milers up in Trinity Alps, Marble Mountains, 100-mile canoe trips.
Second time Frank's come up today. That's funny. Yeah.
He's a great man.
Oh, he's memorable. I mean, he really invested in scouting, right?
Yeah.
That's super cool.
I want to say for like 50, 60 years.
So 3 things. Scouts has had an impact. My son-in-law is one of 5 Eagle Scouts in their family.
Right. That's
pretty cool.
Incredible. Yeah. I would say the second one was football.
Oh.
At a young age, it gave you discipline. Mm-hmm. It gave you camaraderie teammates and all that great stuff, but it really had you inner focused on what you wanted to do. And I was not a big guy. I didn't have the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the average guy I played against in high school was probably 6'2", 230 pounds.
Wow.
And I'm at like 5'9", 175 doing my best.
Yeah. Hitting hard. Try to be quick.
You learn how to be quick and you learn how to take their legs out because you were not going to push some guy who's got 60 pounds in you around.
Probably not. Yeah.
So
did you guys, good team that year? Years?
Yeah. We came a few plays away from beating Fortuna in 1979, but
all right.
Yeah.
That your senior year?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are a little younger than me.
Well, senior was the football year, was 79.
Okay. Gotcha.
I graduated 80.
Your class of 80. So yeah. Class of 78.
Okay. The third thing I would say was Marine Corps. I went through Marine Corps Officer Candidate School during college.
Okay.
So during your summers, they send you back to the East Coast to Quantico, Virginia.
Wow.
Shave your head and wake you up at 4 a.m, start yelling at you and put you to bed at 10 at night.
There you go. The yelling never stops.
The yelling never stops. Morning was a garbage can being flown down the barracks bay on the cement floor. Bang, 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 bang. And the lights go on and the yelling starts screaming.
Wow. Get up, you.
And the whole idea was if you can't
jerks.
handle this stress, there's no way in hell you're going to handle the stress of bullets being fired at you or bombs going off next to you.
Or wartime in general, yeah.
So
did you actually serve after that?
No. One of my other great regrets in life is I graduated in college in 3.5 years.
Wow.
And I was dirt poor. And so I said to the Marine Corps, I can't wait another 6 months. I need to get in now.
Interesting.
So I wrote a hardship letter and they bumped me back another 3 months.
Huh.
So I just didn't want to hang out for actually 10 months. I would have had to hang out for 10 months just twiddling my thumbs doing some low-grade job. And
you make a good point. I want to infer your point that a lot of successes have disappointments. I mean, they're cousin. I mean, they can be two different sides of the same coin.
I'm going to add a fourth thing too.
Go for it.
In college, I realized they use this line in the movie Good Will Hunting. You can probably get a better education in a public library than you can at most universities, unless you're really a specialist in a certain field like medical or science or something.
Great movie, by the way.
But yeah, if you just start reading books and if you read a book a week, I would say you're probably more intelligent than 98% of the people out there.
So, hey, 3 things that you're passionate about now. There's another. You're like my guinea pig. You're getting all the new questions. What are you passionate about that you'd like to see transpire in Humboldt or beyond?
I'm passionate about politics.
Yeah.
I think most people don't get involved in politics unless that it affects them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was a thing of the Humboldt County supervisors, and I want to go back to, I want to say 2008, decided they're going to cut off building permits in TPZ timber protected zones or timber production zones.
Mm-hmm.
And overnight, people just stood in front of the courthouse. People I knew who had told me that I would never get involved in politics. They're out there yelling and screaming, holding a placard.
Flipped out.
Just lost their mind because they had land up in rural areas, or their family had lands that they're planning to give back to them so they could build a house somewhere.
Not anymore.
And overnight, supervisors said, without any input, we're going to take away your building rights. And
I remember that. People really
lost, but it started with Hum CPR.
Huh. That's right.
Humboldt Coalition for Property Rights.
Was that Estelle Fennell? And
she was one of the executive directors, but they just got people together to say, hey, maybe we should have some input on our local electeds because they did something without checking with anybody.
Right. And Hum CPR was a big deal, right? Are they still around?
No. They were effective, very effective for a while.
Okay.
They got a lot of people motivated and involved, and that's half the battle. You got to get someone off their couch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So in next month at this time, literally the next month at this time, October 19th, I'll be off to Clark County, Nevada, where I'm planning on spending 4 to 5 days out knocking doors.
Is that Burning Man?
No.
It's
tract homes, but it's early voting starts on October 19th. Where you can go to local library or fire station to vote and get it out of the way. That's our goal, is to get them off their couches and get them to vote.
Good.
So that way your vote's banked and you don't have to chase them on election day. Where, I had a headache, I slept in late, I had to work late on the job, so I'm sorry, I couldn't vote this year.
So they could vote earlier in Nevada? Do they have a window of voting?
It's literally like 2 weeks prior to the election it opens up.
Okay, gotcha.
And most states have something like that. In California, I'm going to get my ballot on October 6th. They're probably going to mail it on October 5th. I'll get it in my mail on October 6th. I'll fill it out in the first 5 minutes, sign the envelope, and it's going to be back out in my mail in 10 minutes.
Forget about it. Send it. Yeah.
Done.
Hey, listen, we don't talk politics here because the most important things are, sex, politics, and religion.
Yeah.
And if we had to talk about God for a while, the whole thing is over.
Yeah, so I always say you don't talk politics, religion, or sex to any people because they've all got their own opinions and theirs are definitely wrong.
And and so's yours, for the record. So 3 things you're passionate about. We'll come back to politics because I want to hear about your column and stuff you write to. And but religion and sex, we're not doing that today. I mean, we have limits on the show here.
Yeah, I get that.
And Nick's a little younger than, I want to make sure we take, what I'm saying. I want to be cool with Nick.
The other one I'm passionate about is NFL football and sometimes college football.
Well, politics to football.
Yeah,
Okay,
I love football. It's the most popular sport in America.
Who's your team?
Well, this year, once again, I don't have a team since Tom Brady retired. Mm-hmm. I loved the Patriots when he was there. Mm-hmm. I loved him because he had in a bunch of scrubs. If you can name a wide receiver during the first 3 Super Bowls, I would be actually impressed. Most people can't. Mm-hmm. Even the wide receivers they brought in the last 3 Super Bowls.
The tall guy.
They had Randy Moss for 2 years.
Let's get a Moss.
But they didn't win a Super Bowl with Moss. They lost that one.
Huh.
But they, if you can name a wide receiver during the first 3 Super Bowls or the next 3 Super Bowls, I would be truly amazed.
That's pretty good.
And then also when he went to Tampa Bay in 1 year, the first year there, they hadn't won the playoffs 13 years, and Brady takes him to Super Bowls, a wild card team.
Crazy.
And wins it.
Yeah.
So, but love football. As a matter of fact, this year I bought a 3-pack down at, I keep calling the San Diego Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers now play at SoFi Stadium.
My team.
They share the stadium with the Rams.
Right. They do a rotation. Right?
I just went to the opening game of the season against the Raiders.
Nice.
Heading off to see the Chiefs at the end of this month.
Wow.
And then Baltimore the Monday night before Thanksgiving.
The Ravens have a good team even though they lost already. Well, their quarterback, what's his name? Lamar Jackson.
Jackson, yeah.
He's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like him, but he's great. I respect him.
So football is something I'm very passionate about. The other thing is travel. I love to travel. I'm a travel hack, so people always ask me, how do you travel so much? Well, I typically get free airfare, free hotels. That makes it really affordable to travel.
Yeah.
I use that doing credit card sign-up bonuses.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's a big deal. Where are you traveling to next?
I just got back from Vegas where I had 3 nights comped at Win Encore, and $600 of food comped.
How'd you do that?
I have no idea. They send me saying, would you like 3 nights? And yes, with $600
what's it called? Encore?
Win Encore.
Is that a new property?
No, it's been around for a while. I want to say Win's been around for 20 years. And I want to say Encore's been around for 13.
Okay.
But it's one of the finest hotels in Las Vegas.
So do you fly United down to SFO and over?
Yep.
Huh. Do you think they'll have was it a Velo that flew?
Yeah.
Is that coming back anytime?
No, because it was flying in late on a Friday night. No one wanted to get in at 10 o'clock on a Friday night. So by the time you get your luggage and get a cab, it's 11 o'clock or midnight. And
it's Saturday.
Yeah, and the day's gone.
Yeah, you're not going to go out and gamble it no way. So maybe some of the Chico guys would.
Yeah.
Back in the pony keg days.
Mainly, I love the food there. I read all the food blogs, the Las Vegas Journal Review, any website that talks about food in there, and it just go for the food is, oh my God.
Really? So you're a food guy there.
Yeah.
Huh.
It helps out when you get comped for a lot of food, though.
Yeah. So State Farm has their conference there every 4 years. So last time we were there, we got to see, I met Jake with State Farm.
Okay.
Kevin's cool. He's a really nice man. And you get 30 seconds at the photo booth. You hand your phone off and they shoot you and you get to talk, shake his hand and whatever. And
next?
He was so personal. I mean, he was so personable to me. But so the rumor was he was in the conference center. So you just had to find him. And so that was cool. He was a nice guy. And then we got to go see Garth Brooks. And
I love the shows there.
Yeah. And the Allegiant Stadium's kind of cool.
Earlier this year, I was there at Win Encore and walked up to the concierge saying, you got any concerts going on? And they go, yeah, Duran.
Sweet.
I'm like, okay, tell me about this. And tickets are only $475. I go, yeah, I'm not interested, but my daughter and her girlfriend and my best friend and his girlfriend don't get in until tomorrow. So it's just a single person. Do you have any, what do they call them? We'll call last minute tickets. And they go, I have a ticket here for $121. I go, sold.
My price.
Yes. And I was,
were they good?
Yeah.
They're older, right?
Simon Le Bon, the sexiest man alive in the early 80s, he's become a dad. He put on 30 pounds and has to dye his hair. Yeah. No, he's still got his hair. Okay. He just dyes his hair and put on some weight, and he's a dad.
That's funny. We saw Keanu Reeves and Dog Star, his band, up in Oregon.
And then earlier, a couple months before that, my buddy calls up and says, "Hey, we had a friend of ours can't make it. Would you like to go see U2 at the Sphere?"
Oh, dude.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
I'll get there.
Wow. So you just traveled on account of that.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Not that hard to get to Vegas from here. To go to the Sphere would be amazing.
You find a way to make it work.
Was that pretty cool?
The Sphere it's literally a bucket list thing if you haven't been there.
Okay. Everybody says it's great.
Yeah.
And U2 would be just great to see anywhere.
Yeah.
They do a good show?
Oh, phenomenal. I mean,
really?
And I'm looking at the math going, God, these guys are approaching, well, they're not, they're 60s, mid 60s, but still in great shape and they work it.
Oh, they're good guys. You know, I just want to go back for a minute, and I'm just so delighted that you mentioned the Raiders getting beat by the LA Chargers. There's just a little warm place in my heart when I heard that. I just wanted to.
You're a Chargers fan?
I just wanted to go back. I was a San Diego Chargers fan.
Okay, so in January 1981, I was at the Murph for the AFC Championship game
with was it Fouts?
Yeah,
Dan Fouts.
John Jefferson, Charlie Joyner, Kellen Winslow, Chuck Muncie.
Dude, you're a horror.
Ed White as your guard.
Wow. Who was the middle linebacker, the Samoan?
Oh, Junior Seau didn't come till later.
Oh, Junior was later. You're right.
Right. He didn't come. He wasn't there in 81.
That would have been earlier than Junior.
My uncle lived down in Point Loma, and he had a friend who was a Charger fan, and
Beautiful
says,
place.
"Listen, I need to get my nephew, or not my nephew, my nephew, a ticket for the game." So all week long in San Diego, if you live there, the Village people wrote a song, "San Diego Superchargers."
Oh, yeah.
San Diego.
It was a big deal.
Superchargers. For an entire week, you could not hit a radio station without hearing that stupid song for an entire week.
I remember that.
Out of the 65,000 people that went to the Murph, 500 of us were wearing black jerseys. Got pelted with beer, popcorn, hot dogs, everything all game long.
It would have been worse in Oakland.
Yeah.
Or would have been LA at that time.
Yeah.
Were they the LA Raiders?
An
then?
incredible game, and the Raiders won, and
oh man,
San Diego just went. And they saw one more championship game against Cincinnati in minus 14-degree weather, and
they beat them, right?
No.
I thought they did, and they went and played
Cincy lost. They lost to Cincinnati the next year, and Cincy went on to play the Niners next year.
Okay. What year did San Diego lose to the Niners? That was in the 90s.
94.
Yeah.
Then you finally got to a Super Bowl.
Hey, man.
And then you ran into the great 94 49ers team.
Oh, my gosh. How do you beat those guys? Wasn't even much of a game. Just I was really bummed, actually.
It was ugly.
It was not a pretty game.
I want to say 49-19 or something.
Hey, they're 2-0 this year. Chargers actually have some.
And they got a new coach.
He's the difference.
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, man. They tell me he's got some talent to work with, and they're in development. I don't know what the hell that means.
It means they got a lot of young guys.
That means we'll see.
Right now, the Charger running back's leading the league in rushing.
Is he the rookie or is that the receiver?
He's been around for a while. Dobbins.
He's good.
J.K. Dobbins. They've got you got a guy there from Georgia, a rookie named Ladd.
Is he the running back or the
wide receiver?
He's the receiver I'm thinking about. Let's talk about destinations for a minute. So we've talked about football. Where do you like to travel? Top 5 destinations and why?
Probably Ko'olina, Hawaii is number one.
That's on Oahu, right?
Oh, on Oahu, 20 miles northwest of Honolulu Airport.
Right.
It's an area they started developing about 25 years ago.
NFL would stay there during Pro Bowl, right?
The Pro Bowl hotel was right down the beach from where we stay. And then they'd play at the Aloha Stadium.
Yeah. But took my dad one year.
That was a Pro Bowl game, yeah. And the old players used to be there for all that. And
yeah.
Love going there just because it's quiet. I'm not a big fan of Waikiki. I call it San Francisco with a beach.
Yep.
There's 500,000 people in a bunch of high-rise hotels and traffic. And
some people like that.
Not on vacation. I go there to get away from that.
Somebody said it's a combination of Vegas, Tijuana, and Hawaii. It's like a trifecta of all three.
I like going to a beach where there's like 20, 30 people, not 2,000 or 3,000 people.
Right. The NFL did the Pro Bowl pre-games, the tug of war and all that fun stuff in Waikiki. My dad and I got to watch all those guys. Flew home with Irving Fryer, the receiver from – was he a receiver from Dolphins?
No, New England.
Was he New England? Okay. I think he did play for the Dolphins at one point.
Look that up.
Yeah, I think so. Nice guy. Had his whole family, whatever. Yeah, those guys are yoked. And some of them are not – they're not 7 foot. They're 6'2", but they're about that wide. They're Just
When you're 6'2", 300 pounds, that's a big boy.
that's a big guy, man, and you're going to just take some people out. And so Colina,
Probably number one. Number two is Las Vegas.
okay,
Just like go
You're
to
a
Las
Vegas
Vegas
dude.
once a month.
really?
I get rooms either free or for $12, $13 a night.
We got to talk after the show about that. You're my new best friend.
Part of the travel hack.
I got some swag for you here
actually
somewhere.
wrote an article now for one of my Matthew in the Middle articles for the Times Standard.
Okay,
Saying it's not me. Anybody can do it. You just have to know how to play the game.
right.
So Las Vegas,
Vegas.
Number two, LA, number three.
Okay.
I love going to LA to visit.
Where do you stay? Where do you go down? Do you go down?
I got my girlfriend down there who I'm with Tournament of the Roses with.
Okay.
I usually just stay he's got a 2-bedroom condo, so it works out well.
Pasadena or?
Arcadia, right next to Pasadena.
Sure.
This last weekend, he dropped me off the metro, took the metro downtown LA and met my daughter and her girlfriend there and another friend of theirs. And I love going to the Grand Central Market. That's just my thing. I'll travel a half hour to go get a burrito.
Nice.
It's that good.
I've heard they're great.
Just, oh my God. So we had burritos there. Then we go to the Arts District, and Arts District's where they got a lot of clubs and breweries, and we end up finding a brewery there and playing air hockey, which I had not played in decades,
Oh, that's cool.
and played partners pool. So we probably played pool for about an hour plus.
Nice. And that's all in the downtown area?
Yeah.
Very cool. There's a big Disney theater down there too, right?
Yeah. Huge one.
Yeah. So they've done a lot of renovation.
Yeah.
And isn't the market the same one I'm thinking about? It's like a giant farmer's market that's
Except for it's all jobbers of food.
okay.
Well, this one's doing Mexican, this one's doing Filipino,
Yeah.
this one's doing Italian, this one's doing sandwiches and fish. You pick what you want.
Is it me or does Mexican food taste better south of LA? I mean, I just got back from San Diego for my high school reunion, 25th reunion.
Okay.
Just kidding. Anyway, the food's awesome. We ate tacos every day.
Yep.
I mean, we found the most low life,
Yep.
like doesn't look very nice. It's in Barrio Logan and
Dives
right across the street
for the great food.
police. And the food was outstanding.
Yeah.
You know, and dollar tacos are now $2.25. Just
Yeah, I was
like-
going to say probably $4 in Las Vegas.
yeah, still delicious. So, okay, so we have LA,
Hawaii.
Vegas, Colina, and what else?
Those are my big places I go to.
There's close enough.
Yeah, that's the main reason I go there.
Do you go to Europe ever?
Have not been. That's one of my goals.
Okay.
One of my goals is go to France, and I want to do the route from Patton to Berlin.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Wow. I like that one. General Patton.
Yes.
So
Just follow what the Third Army did.
where did he come from? Northern Italy?
No, he broke out at Normandy.
And then went all the way to Berlin?
He did some, if you read history, he did something called Operation Cobra.
Sure.
Basically, when the 6 weeks after Normandy, people don't understand that the Allies were basically got in a few miles and that was it. And they called what they called the hedgerows.
Mhm.
Basically, these giant mulberry type trees that the roots go way down in the ground. They're big and thick.
Mhm.
And the Americans could not get beyond it because they'd finally get beyond one and the Germans would set up machine guns there. And then they'd get beyond that one. Germans set machine guns there. And it was an ugly slaughter for a while.
Wow.
And two things happened. One, some farm guys figured out you could put basically big metal spikes or big metal things at the bottom of a tank,
Uh-huh.
and it would scoop up the whole hedgerows. They had enough weight to them. They can move and rip up the roots.
As they drive.
So now they've got they cleared out lanes. And the second thing, they took about 1,000 airplanes and carpet bombed the area.
Just the whole thing.
Just carpet bomb the crap out
Wiped
of
it
the
out,
Nazis. And at that point, they told Patton, go. You got the opening here. We've opened up these hedgerows. Go.
That's cool.
And once he did that, he didn't stop till he got to the edge of Berlin.
George was a badass.
He was.
He was a great guy.
And that's when we got into the whole world politics where they let the Russians go into Berlin.
Right.
They stopped the Americans outside and said, let them do the dirty work.
Yeah, let them go in. My dad was a P-51 pilot in the Asian theater, so he's a big fan. We just watched Dunkirk because I saw it on a map because we were in Amsterdam a couple of months ago. We have a son there, and there is a remembrance of the Americans, how they freed the whole darn thing.
They did.
And Dunkirk was a really interesting story, how the boats and the Englishmen came over and rescued.
Thank you, Churchill.
Yeah.
The other members of Churchill's cabinet wanted to surrender.
Yeah. 64,000 troops or something crazy.
I was going to say 100,000 troops stranded there.
There was a lot.
But anything that floated, it went across the channel.
And they went and got people. Good movie.
Live soldiers live to fight another day. Dead soldiers, you bury.
What do you see for Humboldt County? What are your concerns? What are What do you think are the opportunities? And then we'll go into the column. We'll talk about that, and then I'll talk about what your
I'm
legacy
involved
is.
in a government group with the Chamber of Commerce, and the big thing they're trying to do is, what are the issues facing Humboldt County, and what can we do to help move these things forward?
Mm-hmm.
And I call it the 3 H's: housing, healthcare, and homeless.
Good.
Seems to be the biggest 3 things in Humboldt County, but in a lot of towns, especially on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
they run into the same problem.
Same thing.
We
same
don't have
issues.
enough. We don't have enough housing. The Fed just came out today and said, "Hey, we can lower rates more and more and more."
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to change the issue that housing prices are high because there's a huge demand for housing and not enough housing being built.
Right.
They do amazing thing, and they find in certain cities when you build a lot more housing, real estate prices stabilize. But if you don't build housing and you have a demand for it, it's just a supply and demand issue. Supply and demand issue.
Sure.
I think they mentioned nationwide we're 4 million homes short that we need to build now.
Wow.
But we're running into the problem in California where lot costs are too damn high, and the cost to build is approximately $300 a square foot.
Crazy.
I just talked to one of the guys at Schaefer's who bids this stuff out for contracts, and he looks at me and goes, I quote him $300 a square foot to build a house out.
That's kind of an average house, not fancy.
No, he says that's a nice house, but cheap houses you could probably do for about $250 a square foot, but do the math. You want a 2,000 square foot house at, let's say you do it at 250 square foot, that's $500,000, and the lot's going to cost you at least $150 minimum. Now you're into it for $650 to get an average house, not a nice house, just an average house. And you want a nice lot, that's going to be $150,000 to $200,000 if you want a little acreage, a little privacy, and then your cost of building is $300 square foot. And you start doing the math there, and you're going, well, that's $850,000 to build something custom.
I need 8 jobs to do that.
Well, you can go out there and find
4.
a nice house out there.
Yeah.
Nice house. We have a lot of people moving up the Bay Area in LA, and they sold their crappy 1942 bedroom 1-bath home and got, $900,000 for it.
Or $2 million.
Yeah. And then now they come up here and they go, well, I got, $700,000, $600,000 in the bank for a down payment.
I'll go buy Trinidad with an ocean view.
A little more expensive there, but compared to Malibu,
Sure. Yeah, way cheaper.
you can buy something beautiful in Trinidad for $1.5 million that's up on the bluff overlooking the ocean,
Scenic Drive,
ocean front, and you're paying $1.5 million.
Yeah.
But compared to Malibu, you're paying $5-6 million.
Crazy money. What committee are you on with the chamber? What do you
It's
guys
called
do?
the Government Affairs Committee. So one of the other things talked about is healthcare is a big issue for a lot of people, especially as they age here.
Sure.
Now with Fortuna shutting down the maternity one, and now Arcadia's Mad River's talking about shutting down their maternity
They did.
hospitals.
Or
So
it's scheduled.
if you're a woman and you're in your 8 months and 3 weeks of pregnancy and you're having some sort of issue where your body just doesn't feel right, now you got to drive to get into St. Joe's
Got to
Hospital.
go to Eureka, yeah.
So depending upon where you live, that's going to be, it used to be if you lived in Garterville, you can go to Fortuna. If you lived in Oric or McKinleyville, you can go in Arcata. Now you got to go into Eureka.
Got to go all the way into town.
These things like that's an issue. And I hear from a lot of elderly people who need specialists. We don't have enough specialists here.
Right. Yeah.
And part of the problem there is the spouses.
Right.
The spouses come up and go, oh my God, this is beautiful. Did you see Trinidad and the state
Amazing.
parks? It's beautiful.
Where's the mall?
Where's Nordstrom's? And where the 49ers play? And he goes, 6.5 hours south. And they go, what?
Yeah.
So
We'll buy you a plane.
yeah, it's there's some adjustments there. They're still making, we try to tell them, you're making great money. You're a physician, you're making great money. And for your money, you're living a good lifestyle, and you don't have to deal with traffic.
Yeah.
And you don't have to deal with 20 people in each line at the Costco on a Saturday morning. You go to Costco in LA and there's a crowd of 100 to 200 at 9:55 waiting to run in the store.
Crazy. Yeah.
And during the day it gets worse.
This Costco's getting worse, but whatever. It's nothing. Piece of cake. My traffic is the last light on the way to McKinley.
Yeah,
It's
the
nothing.
lights.
It's so nothing. And I go to the Joni calls it. Hi, Joni. Calls it the cheater lane. So you can go. And somebody goes, it's not cheating, man. That lane is designed to go on the outside and create more room for everybody. So I try to honor.
And the other problem we have with
cheating.
homeless up here is inclement weather.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing that gets us.
Right.
And people say, well, we have drugs. We have drugs in every city in America. I'm sorry, but that's just a fact. The issue we have is we have inclement weather.
Which makes people sick?
No, it's you want to go to Palm Springs or Redding where it's 150 and 120. I see them in Vegas and they just sit there and sweat. They got to find shade and a little bottle of water, and all they do is sweat.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Yeah.
So, but when we talk about our summers, God, it hit 72 today. It was a scorcher.
I was really sweating out there.
A typical summer day in Eureka is what, 68?
Maybe.
It's nice.
Maybe, yeah.
And the other thing we have is we have woods.
Yeah.
We have woods everywhere in Humboldt County.
Mm-hmm.
So they can just kind of blend in there with their tent, and that's that.
Yeah. And I've seen that in McKinleyville a lot.
We're not a cement city where it's harder to hide.
Right. Seen San Diego by Balboa Park, and right downtown there, it's tent city.
They're everywhere.
Hardcore. And Portland's even worse, yeah.
Portland's worse. Seattle's worse.
I wish we had answers for that one. That's a tough one.
We're dealing with issues of alcohol and drugs, mental health issues, and rising rental. It's not just real estate prices for people buying, it's rental prices.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, that's come up a number of times. I'm on the board of Destination Humboldt. So we're trying to pay some doctors to come, and we'll pay their medical bills.
And I think
seems like a good
one thing
spot.
we need to do is think about more of what can we do to tell them about all the things Humboldt County has to offer.
Right.
Set them up with a realtor and or someone, a property manager, depending on that renter buys. Let's go look at these different places. Here's what your money buys you here in Eureka, Humboldt County area.
Right.
It's a pretty nice lifestyle. And then show them we do have restaurants. We do have some social things going on. We have a lot of music up here.
Mm-hmm.
We have one of the largest per capita of artists up here in Humboldt County.
The arts community is huge.
Great. It's wonderful.
I think it's great. It's got a lot of selling points in that sense.
It does.
If somebody could concierge that correctly.
Yes, and that's a great word to say is concierge. Just try to tell them, hey, we've got a doctor coming in. We want to show them around. We'd like to give them a little thing of what is available out there and have someone take 5 minutes to tell them about, hey, here's some places you may want to rent.
Or take them out and go show them
look
stuff.
at them. Here's some places. Let's
that.
look at Diamond Drive in Arcata.
Yeah.
It's a nice little area.
Hey, man.
$800,000 buys you a monster house with a view.
Are you a golfer? How about there's good golf courses? So let's talk about Matthew in the middle. Your day job is mortgage broker. Your
mortgage banker. Yeah.
Banker, sorry. Your night job is or whatever other job is. You're right. You're a writer. You've done this for how many years?
I want to say about 12 years now.
So you've got thousands of columns.
Hundreds of columns, yes.
Okay, you might be four figures someday.
Yeah. So started off with the Lost Coast Outpost back in the day. I used to write letters to the editor, and Hank Sims calls me up from the Lost Coast Outpost. Says, "How would you like to write a column for us?" And I go,
nice.
Well, "What column?" He goes, "You tell me." So, what do you want to call this? And Hank says, "How about Matthew in the middle?" And I go, "Okay, cool."
He came up with that.
Yeah. And
shout out to Hank Sims, man. Good job, Hank.
For about worked well for a couple of years, and then we had to call it creative differences. One of the people there he wanted to edit a lot of my stuff because and writers don't like to being edited a lot. We like our words getting out.
I mean, I could see for size, but edit for size or for content?
Content.
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah. So we went to the Times Standard and said. This was right at the time where Times Standard they used to have a guy writing a weekly column, and he had some sort of plagiarism issue, and they got rid of him, and they had a hole, and they met with the former editor, and he says, "Yeah, I'd love to have you come on board here."
Nice.
So,
is that weekly?
Weekly every Sunday, and I have to turn a column in, otherwise the people get angry.
Oh,
if for whatever reason we're traveling and I don't make the deadline or something, and they don't print me,
you have one in the bucket.
They get a lot of people calling in angry.
Really?
Yeah.
Scott Q. Marcus, our friend, writes as well. So, what are you proud of there? What have you written about that has hit a nerve or got you excited, or what are you? What's going on in the middle?
There's a rumor we're doing
Matthew?
A presidential election this year.
Mm-hmm. Is that happening?
Yeah, it's happening, and one side was getting real cocky because it turns out the Democrats may have been hiding Joe Biden's mental acumen.
Huh.
And, nothing against Joe. He did a great job in 2020.
He's a good American.
Took out the orange monster, but he's getting old. And he's having senior moments, which were apparent during the first debate.
Clearly.
Where it was just like every Democrat I talked to just went, "Oh, my God."
Yeah.
And they do, "What do we do?" And I go, "Reset." And they go, "What?" We need to reset. I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Joe needs to say, I'm stepping down, not running for election." There's, I want to say 5, 6 presidents that have done that.
Yeah.
During they did their first term. The last one was Johnson.
Really? Okay.
LBJ just between
got old. Yeah.
Vietnam and the protest in this country. 68 was a rough year in the country's history.
What a grueling job anyway. Yeah.
Plus he took over after the JFK assassination.
Right. So
he basically got in there year early, won a huge election, and then it took a toll on him.
And
all the great thoughts he had that he was going to do with the Great Society, which I'll give Johnson credit for that.
Sure.
But it's hard when you're spending billions of dollars on Great Society to make poor people's lives better and spending billions of dollars on a war.
And a war that was tough.
Yeah.
Tough to win.
There's an old saying in economics, guns or bullets.
Yeah.
Excuse me, not bullets or butter.
Yeah.
You can feed people or you can shoot a bullet, but once you shoot a bullet, it's gone. That expense is done.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Good one. Yeah. So in your opinion, did he step down a little on the late side?
Biden?
Yeah.
No, I thought it was perfect.
Okay.
I've never seen a party get behind a candidate like they did with Kamala Harris.
Sure.
They just, we all thought, okay, is this going to be an open convention? Which one do you like? Are you going to go for Bernie? Are you going to go for Pete Buttigieg? You going for Kamala? Who's it going to be? And it would have been a free fall. I mean, it just would have been everyone set on the guy.
Right, right.
But instead, somehow the power brokers got together and said,
they rallied.
We're getting behind Kamala and everyone is going to do it. And I loved her choice of vice president for Tim Walz. Turns out he's an everyday guy.
Yeah, Joni, my wife, really likes him. Says he's pretty solid.
Just former coach. He's not a wealthy guy. By the way, the Republicans, 2 people are from Ivy League schools. People don't know that, Wharton and Yale. And our 2 people are, I don't think Tim Walz got he probably got a master's in teaching, but Kamala graduated UCSF.
Was he a teacher and a coach?
Yes.
Walz?
High school assistant coach.
Assistant coach.
And a teacher for 20 plus years. But I'm just a down-to-earth guy.
And she's USC Law School.
UCSF, San Francisco.
Oh, San Francisco.
Hastings.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
But the main thing is now is I like to say we have a candidate that's Don Old, as in OLD. It used to be that Biden was the old candidate. Guess who we're left with as the old candidate?
Barbara Boxer.
And
wait,
Dianne Feinstein. Yeah,
she's died. She's dead.
She died, but yeah.
What about Pelosi? Is she still in office?
She's still strong as ever and feisty as ever. And she may be one of the main reasons that Biden stepped down. She came out and said, I hope Biden does what's best for the country.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the Democrats say, we can speak out against the president.
Well, she has. Yeah. So tell me about the columns. What do you write about?
Typically someone asks me, where do you get your inspiration? I say to them, I wait till Friday morning and said, what the heck happened this week in this country or locally that something happened here. So
are you going to write about some of the bomb things, the pagers
in the Middle East?
Yeah. Do you touch that or do you stay local?
Try to stay off the Middle East. I did write about the Cal Poly incident, which I'll say to anyone who is protesting, what has changed?
Yeah, right.
You guys locked yourself in a building for how many days? What changed?
And did $2 million of damage. Yeah, Officer Packer, retired UPD, he said everybody played it perfectly wrong. Everybody just did let's do the opposite. And they did. And there we go.
But at the end of the day, what did they accomplish? Absolutely. It's like the people who did Occupy Wall Street.
Right.
They had a leaderless group that didn't go out and lobby Congress, and they didn't talk about what's happening in the United States Supreme Court, and all they did was protest in a park, and at the end of the day, what did they accomplish? They brought up some points, but okay, I kind of already knew that.
Yeah.
There's income inequality in this country. Yes, the billionaires run this country because they run the tax code and regulations from Congress.
Yeah. Tough truth.
Most billionaires pay less taxes than you and I do.
Super tough truth.
The more money you make, the less taxes they want to pay.
Right. Right. Go figure.
How am I going to get by on $4.2 million a year? I just don't know how I'm going to, feed the family.
The need rises with your budget.
I think the need rises with your ego.
With your income and your ego, yeah. So tell me more in terms of feedback on the column. What have you, any death threats? Anything super crazy? Do you get free things like Vegas?
No. What I do get, depending on the people there, I get a lot of nasty emails.
Okay.
I got to tell you, after I wrote the thing about the Cal Poly protest over Israel and Hamas there in Palestine, I got just a flood of emails saying, I read your column every week. I don't always agree with you, but you kind of hit the nail on the head here.
Oh, nice.
So which is positive feedback. Sometimes I get positive feedback. Yeah. Usually I get feedback from the Trumpers who are just angry because I tell the truth, something their candidate never does. And they do not like to hear that.
Yeah. That's verboten. Yeah.
It's especially after his debate with Kamala Harris when he talked about they're eating the pets, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, and we're going, what the hell?
It's so hard to debate how that went.
You just I saw it on the internet, so it's got to be true.
Yeah.
If you believe half the things you see on Facebook.
Yeah. Wait, that's not true?
Yeah.
Instagram, TikTok, that's not real? What? Nick, why did you...
it's real, but that's the main reason a lot of people on the far right push their propaganda, because other people don't fact check it.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife has a supply of socks when Don comes on. Don Trump.
Donald
Trump.
Don.
You call him
Okay.
Don
I was
Old?
going to
Is
say
that what you
Don
call him?
Jr. I was thinking Don.
No, she actually throws...
Don Old.
So we have a nice TV and she throws socks at it. Come on. You can't do this, man. You can't be...
I was yelling a lot during the debate.
Oh, it was interesting. It's no wonder you like football. It's kind of a sport.
Yeah.
Only it's different.
During the Raiders game at the Chargers in SoFi, it was fourth quarter. The Raiders...
Wait, you wore black to that
Yes,
game.
of course.
Really?
And the Raiders go down to the Charger 43. They're down by 6. Fourth quarter, 6 minutes to go.
It was that close.
4th and 1, and they punt. And I got out of my... I was yelling and screaming.
43?
On the 43 on 4th and 1. You're in the opponent's territory. You got to go for it.
Who made that?
And I was standing up. My buddy actually had to grab my arm. You need to calm down. I'm like, the coach is playing to lose, not to win.
You're losing your mind.
Yeah. Just...
Well, fan is short for fanatic.
You know, that's what you said. Do you have passion in your life? Yeah. Get me at a football game and I'll show you some passion.
That's some passion. I like
And that's one of the reasons NFL is the most popular sport out there is you go to a game or watch a game on TV, people are passionate. Go to a sports bar and watch your team have a bad day.
Oh, they go nuts.
They just go nuts.
Especially in Vegas. I've noticed it there.
I was just at Vegas this last week at a sports bar where you could not get a seat.
Yeah.
It's packed and standing 2-3 deep at the bar because they have, just 20, 30 TVs, giant widescreen TVs,
sure.
The size of your house type thing.
Oh, they're crazy. Yeah.
And they got, in the morning, 6 games going on at once, in the afternoon, 3 games going on at once. And depending upon who your team is, you hear people just yell and scream and say, hey, or, oh, for hours and hours and hours.
On end.
Yeah.
No wonder there's beer. That makes sense now.
Yeah.
So tell us, what do you want to be known for when you leave, whatever that looks like, when you check out your gravestone?
That's easy.
What are your top 3 things you'd like to be remembered for?
I would say one, I raised a great child.
Oh, nice.
That's when my daughter was growing up, I said, I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to be your father, which means my job is to make sure you get through high school, not pregnant, not a drug addict, and not an alcoholic, and you're going to college.
Cool.
And by the way, after you graduate, you got a choice. You can go to a convent, you can go to the barracks, or you go to dormitory, but you ain't hanging around my house, sitting on the couch, smoking pot and playing video games like a lot of my friends' adult children do.
Nice.
As they try to find themselves in the next 6 to 12 years.
Right.
So she did a year abroad in Bangkok, Thailand as a Rotary exchange student, came back, went to junior college 2 years and got accepted to UCLA, graduated there 2 years later.
Wow.
That's probably my most prideful accomplishment.
Proud of that girl.
Proud of the children. Yeah, and she's doing great in life.
She married?
No.
Kids?
No, not yet.
What'd she study, by the way?
Anthropology.
Perfect.
But you know who their speaker was? You know the actor Dex, who's married to Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
He graduated UCLA in anthropology and was their commencement speaker.
Oh, that's cool.
And he says, you know what I've done with my degree since I graduated? Not a damn thing. But I got a piece of paper on the wall that says UCLA graduate.
That's right.
And he's probably made more money there of anyone who's graduated the
skills, all the skill sets.
But he says, you bore down, you completed your assignments, you showed up every day, and that's number one thing employers want to see.
Oh, yeah.
You're not a flake.
Yeah. Hey, recreation administration major, Humboldt State.
There you go.
Not Cal Poly.
Not did a lot with that, huh?
Yeah, I really have excelled in that. My kids go, you majored in recess? What's that mean?
I would say the other thing I'd be proud of is on a tombstone I could say, he told the truth.
Nice.
So there's just so much. Everyone has propaganda where they try to tilt the news to one way or the other, but one side it's just a fire hose of lies. And that really bothers me about our country. I mean, most Republicans don't know that Fox News settled a lawsuit for $778,500,000 just because they didn't want it to go on because it was looking so bad for them. They said, yep, we screwed up. We lied to you. Here's the money. Go away.
Wow. When was that?
The lawsuit against Smartmatic. The Dominion Voting Systems. Smartmatic's next. But Smartmatic was only in one county in the entire nation. That was LA County. So when Fox News is out there saying Dominion changed votes and overnight, they lied to you.
Yeah.
Flat out lied to you. But they told the people what they wanted to hear.
Yeah. Funny how we're like that. I don't think that's only on the right, but okay.
Yeah, I got a problem with a lot of progressives too.
Truth be known.
They want free stuff, but they don't tell me how they're going to pay for it.
Yeah, we'd like to get it paid for. Yeah, no, that's interesting. It's fun going to Boise, Idaho, because everybody's really great and friendly. It feels conservative, and they're great. And then you get them on the streets, and they're frickin' crazy drivers. Like, Rude doesn't cover it. Joni's on a walk, and she almost gets hit, like on the regular. It's like people.
They're armed.
Yeah, it's just driving is, the rules are just suggestions, I guess, in some places, but maybe LA's like that too. So you told the truth. I like that.
I think more people need to.
I'll go on a limb here. Miles Slattery sat here a few weeks ago, and I don't know him from Adam. I don't know his politics. I haven't watched a lot of anything. He seemed like he's a pretty straight shooter. Yeah, he's a pretty honest guy. Would you concur with that?
I would say Miles Slattery's driving the city.
Okay.
City managers have more influence because we don't have a strong mayor that can hire and fire people and control the budget. The city manager does it. The question is, the Eureka City Council is supposed to direct the city manager what they want him to do, or does Miles, the city manager, direct the city council what he wants done?
Right.
There's a lot of
play in that.
Yeah.
And you got Prop F coming up. And
a lot of people weren't happy about that.
Yeah.
And Miles says, the state says we got to build things. This is where we own land. We can't go out and buy land.
Right.
And developers won't do it because it's too damn expensive.
There's only
especially with interest rates being at 8.5 for construction loans. They're just saying, it doesn't make sense.
Before you go, let's get you started on cannabis again. So that's dying in the last 5 years, right? That's kind of been tough in Soham and elsewhere.
I want to say it was.
You're in the middle and you tell the truth.
7 years ago, I wrote an article, Beware of Legalization. It's coming, but you know what that means? Rules, regulations, and taxes.
Lots of tax.
So they kept screaming, we want to be legal. And I wish the industry well. I'm not a cannabis guy, but if you look around Humboldt County, especially if you talk to people under 40, I said to one guy, if you have friends, how many would you say use cannabis? And he goes, 80%. No, that number's low, probably 90%.
Wow.
A lot of them just because they don't want to do the pills because it can hurt your internal organs. A lot of them, they used to do alcohol, but it made you fuzzy. And a lot of younger people drank way too much. And it goes, it didn't work for me. So a lot of them get into cannabis. And, whatever works for you. I'm a libertarian at heart. What you do in the privacy of your own homes, your own business, don't beat your co-inhabit and don't beat your kids or animals. Outside of that, there's a lot of people that sit around and watch TV all day. And that's what you want to do for life. Okay.
Yeah, state of Jefferson. Wait, that's different.
I think Rex Bowen said it best. A bunch of broke-ass counties want to form a new state.
That's a good one, Rex.
But I talked to them when they came here, and I said, how are you going to pay for any social services? The guy looks at me and goes, easy. And I go, what's that? We're not going to provide it.
Nice.
So what do you do if you're poor in the state of Jefferson? You're kind of screwed. Hopefully you move out. You think right now, if you look at the Humboldt County's budget, I want to say 65% of it's Department of Health and Human Services.
That much?
Yeah. And the state of Jefferson, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Gone.
I'd be cheating you if I didn't give you this. The last minute quiz.
Okay.
You already gave us the legacy. You told the truth. What's your favorite restaurant? You get to take Virginia anywhere you want tonight. Where do you go?
SW Steakhouse in Las Vegas.
Okay. How about that's a good one.
It's my favorite by far.
How about somewhere in Humboldt?
Local?
Yeah.
Larapin's.
Larapin. Okay. That comes up a lot. Question 2. Best cup of coffee in town?
Ramon's.
Ramon's, good one. Yeah, they used to have a mochaccino that was good. Question 3. Favorite, you get the day off. What do you get to do? What are you going to go do? Whatever you want. You get paid. Sick leave, whatever. What does your day look like?
Landscaping. I'm taking care of 3 to 4 different properties for family and friends now.
And that's therapy and fun?
Yeah, it relaxes me. I put on my little Apple iPod, not iPod, it's the Apple Shuffle, the thing that's a little bit bigger than your thumb.
One, yeah.
You just clip it to your thing and go.
It's pretty old school, by the way.
It's old school. I love it. Because otherwise you got to hold a big phone in your hand.
I've got a little one that's a shuffle that's about that big. And it's great. So yeah, love it. Still had tons of songs from my son who put it all together in college.
Gave you a playlist.
It's a cool playlist, man. Jesse's got a great it's all LimeWire.
Okay.
What's LimeWire? People ask.
That's an old school.
Anyway, hey, Matthew, thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for being here.
Appreciate it. Lots of fun. And I wish you all the best. And we'll definitely have to get together on that travel stuff. I want to quiz you and find out.
Call me up. We'll go have lunch one day, and I'll walk you through how you can travel for free and get free hotels.
You too can travel. And if we wanted to reach you, how do we reach Matthew in the middle?
It's at the bottom of my column every week. My email's there.
What's that?
mowen707@gmail.com.
Matt, thanks for coming.
Thank you, Scott.
Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.